Part I of Alcestis. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. Alcestis by Euripides. Translated by Arthur Sanders Way, 1847-1930. Part I. Apollo, being banished for a season from Olympus, and condemned to do service to a mortal, became herdsman of Admetus, king of Pherae in Thessaly. Yet he loathed not his earthly taskmaster, but loved him, for that he was a just man, and hospitable exceedingly. Wherefore he obtained from the Fates this boon for Admetus, that when his hour of death should come, they should accept in ransom for his life the life of whosoever should have before consented to die in his stead. Now when this was made known, none of them who were nearest by blood to the king would promise to be his ransom in that day. Then Alcestis his wife, the daughter of Pelias, king of Iolcos, pledged her to die for him. Of her love she did it, and for the honour of wifehood. And the years passed by, and the tale was told in many lands, and all men praised Alcestis, but Admetus bore a burden of sorrow, for day by day she became dearer to him, a wife wholly true, a mother most loving, and a lady to her thralls gentle exceedingly. But when it was known by tokens that the day was come, Admetus repented him sorely, but it availed not, for no mortal may recall a pledge once given to the gods. And on that day there came to the palace Apollo, to plead with death for Alcestis' sake, and a company of elders of Pherae, to ask of her state and to make mourning for her. And when she was dead, ere she was borne forth to burial, came Heracles, son of Zeus, in his journeying, seeking the guest's right of meat and lodging, but not knowing aught of that which had come to pass. Of him was a great deliverance wrought, which is told herein. Dramatis Personae. Apollo, Death, Chorus, composed of elders of Pherae, Handmaid, Alcestis, daughter of Pelias and wife of Admetus, Admetus, king of Pherae, Eumelus, king of Admetus and Alcestis, Heracles, Pheres, father of Admetus, servant, steward of the palace, guards, attendants, handmaids, and mourners. The scene throughout is in front of the palace of Admetus at Pherae. Enter Apollo. Apollo. Halls of Admetus, where I stooped my pride To brook the fare of serfs, yea, I, a god. The fault was fault of Zeus : he slew my son Asclepius, hurled the levin through his heart. Wroth for the dead, his smiths of heavenly fire I slew, the Cyclops : and for blood atonement Serf to a mortal man my father made me. To this land came I, tended mine host's kine, and warded still his house unto this day. Righteous myself, I lighted on the righteous, the son of Pheres. Him I snatched from death, cozening the fates. To me the sisters pledged them that imminent death Admetus should escape, if he for ransom gave another life. To all he went, all near and dear, and asked grey sire, the mother that had given him life, but, save his wife, found none that would consent for him to die and never more see light. Now in his arms upborne within yon home, she gaspeth forth her life, for on this day her weird it is to die and part from life. I, lest pollution taint me in their house, go forth of yonder hall's beloved roof. Enter Death. Lo, yonder Death, I see him nigh at hand, priest of the dead, who comes to hale her down to Hades' halls. Well hath he kept his time, watching this day whereon she needs must die. Death. Ha! Thou at the palace? Wilt not make room, Phoebus? Thou wrestest the right yet again. Thou removest the landmarks of gods of gloom, and thou makest their honours vain. Did this not suffice thee, to thwart that doom of Admetus, when all by thy cunning beguiled were the fates, that thou now must be warding the wife with thine hand made ready the bowstring to strain, though she pledged her from death to redeem with her life her lord, she, Peleus' child? Apollo. Fear not, fair words and justice are with me. Death. Justice with thee? What needeth then the bow? Apollo. This my wont to bear it evermore. Death. Yea, and to aid yon house in lawless wise. Apollo. Mine heart is heavy for my friend's mischance. Death. What, wilt thou wrest from me this second corpse? Apollo. Nay, not that other did I take by force. Death. Not? Why on earth then? Why not underground? Apollo. She was his ransom, she for whom thou comest. Death. Yea, and will hale her deep beneath the earth. Apollo. Take her and go. I trow I shall not bend thee. Death. To slay the victim due? Mine office this. Apollo. Nay, but to smite with death the ripe for death. Death. I discern thy plea, thy zeal, good sooth. Apollo. And may Alcestis never see old age? Death. Never. Should I not love mine honours too? Apollo. 'Tis soon or late. Thou canst but take one life. Death. Yet mine the goodlier prize, when die the young. Apollo. Think, royal obsequies, if old she die. Death. Lo, Phoebus making laws to shield the rich. Apollo. How sayst thou? Thou a sophist unawares. Death. Would wealth not buy the boon of dying old? Apollo. So then thou wilt not grant this grace to me? Death. Nay, surely. Dost not know my wonted way? Apollo. Hateful to mortals this, and loathed of gods. Death. All things beyond thy rights thou canst not have. Apollo. Surely thou shalt forbear, though ruthless thou, so mighty a man to Pheres' halls shall come, sent of Eurystheus forth, the courser car, from winter dreary lands of Thrace to bring, guest welcomed in Admetus' palace here. By force yon woman shall he wrest from thee. Yea, thou of me shalt have no thank for this, and yet shalt do it, and shalt have mine hate. [Exit Apollo. Death. Talk on, talk on. No profit shalt thou win. This woman down to Hades' halls shall pass. For her I go, my sword shall seal her hours. For sacred to the nether gods is he from whose head this sword hath shorn the hair. [Exit Death. Enter Chorus, dividing to right and left, so that the sections answer one another. Half Chorus 1. What meaneth this hush affront of the hall? The home of Admetus, why voiceless all? Half Chorus 2. No friend of the house who should speak of its plight Is nigh, who should bid that we raise the keen for the dead, or should tell us that yet on the light Alcestis looketh, and liveth the queen, the daughter of Peleus, the noblest, I ween, yea, in all men's sight, the noblest of women on earth that have been. Strophe 1. Half Chorus 1. Or hearest thou mourning or sighing or beating of hands, or the wail of bereaved ones out crying? No handmaid stands at the palace gate. O healer, appear for the dying, appear as a bright bird flying 'Twixt the surges of fate. Half Chorus 2. Ah, they would not be hushed, had the life of her flown. Half Chorus 1. Not forth of the door is the death train gone. Half Chorus 2. Whence cometh thine hope, which I boast not mine own? Half Chorus 1. Would the king without pomp of procession Have yielded the grave the possession Of so dear, of so faithful a one? Antistrophe 1. Half Chorus 2. Nor the cup in the gateway appeareth, From the spring that they bear To the gate that pollution feareth, Nor the severed hair In the porch for the dead, Which the mourner in bitterness sheareth, Neither beating of hands one heareth On maiden's head. Half Chorus 1. Yet surely is this the appointed day. Half Chorus 2. Ah, what wilt thou say? Half Chorus 1. Whereon of her doom she must pass to the tomb. Half Chorus 2. With a keen pang's smart hast thou stabbed mine heart. Half Chorus 1. It is meet when the good are as flowers plucked away, That in sorrow's gloom should the breast of the old tried friend have part. Chorus. Strophe 2. Though ye voyage all seas, ye shall light on no lands, Nor on Lycia's leas, nor Ammonian sands, Whence redemption shall come for the wretched, or loosing of death's dread bands. Doom's imminent slope is a precipice steep. In no god is there hope, though his altars should weep With the crimson atonement, should veil them in clouds of the hecatomb sheep. Antistrophe 2. Ah, once there was one, were life's light in the eyes Of Phoebus' son, then our darling might rise From the mansions of darkness, through portals of Hades return to our skies. For he raised up the dead, ere flashed from the heaven, From Zeus' hand sped, that bolt of the levin. But now what remaineth to wait for ? What hope of her life is given ? No sacrifice more unrendered remaineth, No god but the gore from his altars down raineth. Yet healing is none for our ills, neither balm that the spirit sustaineth. Enter HANDMAID. But hither cometh of the handmaids one, weeping the while. What tidings shall I hear ? To grieve at all mischance unto thy lords May be forgiven : but if thy lady lives, Or even now hath passed, fain would we know. Handmaid. She liveth and is dead : both mayst thou say. Chorus. Ay so? How should the same be dead and live ? Handmaid. Even now she droopeth, gasping out her life. Chorus. Noble and stricken, how noble she thou losest. Handmaid. His depth of loss he knows not ere it come. Chorus. And hope, is no hope left her life to save ? Handmaid. None, for the day foredoomed constraineth her. Chorus. Are all things meet then, being done for her ? Handmaid. Yea, ready is her burial attire. Chorus. Let her be sure that glorious she dies, And noblest woman 'neath the sun's wide way. Handmaid. Noblest ? How not ? What tongue will dare gainsay ? What must the woman be who passeth her ? How could a wife give honour to her lord More than by yielding her to die for him ? And this yea, all the city knoweth this But what within she did, hear thou and marvel. For when she knew that the appointed day was come, In river water her white skin she bathed, And from the cedar chest took forth Vesture and jewels, and decked her gloriously, And stood before the hearth and prayed, and said, Queen, for I pass beneath the earth, I fall before thee now, and never more, and pray. Be mother to my orphans, mate with him A loving wife, with her a noble husband. Nor, as their mother dieth, so may they, My children, die untimely, but with weal In the home land fill up a life of bliss. To all the altars through Admetus' halls She went, with wreaths she hung them, and she prayed, Plucking the while the tresses of the myrtle, Tearless, unsighing, and the imminent fate Changed not the lovely rose tint of her cheek. Then to her bower she rushed, fell on the bed, And there, oh there she wept, and thus she speaks: O couch, whereon I loosed the maiden zone For this man, for whose sake I die to day, Farewell, I hate thee not. Me hast thou lost, me only. Loth to fail thee and my lord, I die, but thee another bride shall own, Not more true hearted, happier perchance. Then falls thereon and kisses. All the bed is watered with the flood of melting eyes. But having wept her fill of many tears, Drooping she goeth, reeling from the couch, Yet oft as forth the bower she passed returned, And flung herself again upon the couch. And the babes, clinging to their mother's robes, were weeping, And she clasped them in her arms, fondling now this, now that, As one death doomed. And all the servants 'neath the roof were weeping, Pitying their lady. But to each she stretched her right hand forth, And none there was so mean to whom she spake not And received reply. Such are the ills Admetus' home within. Now had he died, he had ended, but in 'scaping He bears a pain that he shall ne'er forget. Chorus. Doth not Admetus groan for this affliction Of such a noble wife to be bereft? Handmaid. Ay, weeps, and clasps his dear one in his arms. And prays, forsake me not, asking the while The impossible, for still she wanes and wastes, Drooping her hand, a misery burdened weight. But yet, albeit hardly breathing now, To the sun's rays fain would she lift her eyes, As nevermore, but for the last time then, Destined to see the sun's beam and his orb. But I will go and make thy presence known. For 'tis not all that love so well their kings As to stand by them, in afflictions loyal, But from of old my lords were loved of thee. [Exit. 9 members of the chorus chant successively. Chorus I. O Zeus, for our lords is there nought but despair? No path through the tangle of evils, no loosing of chains that have bound them? Chorus II. No tidings, remaineth but rending of hair, and the stricken ones turned to the tomb with the garments of sorrow around them? Chorus III. Even so, yet uplift we in prayer our hands to the gods, for that power from the days everlasting hath crowned them. Chorus IV. O Healer King, find thou for Admetus the balm of relief, for the captive deliverance. Chorus V. Vouchsafe it, for heretofore hast thou found out a way. Even now once more pluck back our beloved from Hades' door. Strike down Death's hand, red reeking with gore. Chorus VI. Woe's me, let the woe dirge ring. Ah, scion of Pheres, alas for thy lot, for love's long severance. Chorus VII. For such things on his sword might a man not fall, or knit up his throat in the noose 'twixt the heaven and the earth that quivereth. Chorus VIII. For his dear one, nay, but his dearest of all, shall he see on this day lying dead, while her spirit by Lethe shivereth. Chorus IX. O look, look yonder, where forth of the hall she cometh, and he at her side, whose life by her life she delivereth. Chorus united. Cry, land Pheraian, shrill the keen, lift up thy voice to wail thy best there dying, and thy queenliest, slow wasting to the gates unseen. Tell me not this, that wedlock brings to them that wed more bliss than woe. I look back to the long ago, I muse on these unhappiest things. Lo, here a king, he forfeiteth the truest heart, the noblest wife. And what shall be henceforth his life? A darkened day, a living death. Enter female attendants bearing Alcestis, accompanied by Admetus and children. Alcestis. O sun and the day's dear light, and ye clouds through the wheeling heaven in the race everlasting flying. Admetus. He seeth thee and me, two stricken ones, who wrought the gods no wrong, that thou shouldest die. Alcestis. O land, O stately height of mine halls and my bridal couch in Iolcos, my fatherland lying. Admetus. Uplift thee, hapless love, forsake me not, and pray the mighty gods in ruth to turn. Alcestis. I see the boat with the oars twin sweeping, and his hand on the pole as in haste aye keeping. Charon the ferryman calleth, What ho, wilt thou linger and linger? Hasten, 'tis thou dost delay me, he crieth with beckoning finger. Admetus. Ah me, a bitter ferrying this thou namest. O evil starred, what woes endure we now! Alcestis. One haileth me hence to the mansion of the dead. Dost thou mark not the darkling expansion of the pinions of Hades, the blaze of his eyes 'neath their caverns outglaring? What wouldst thou? Unhand me! In anguish and pain by what path am I faring? Admetus. Woeful to them that love thee, most to me and to thy babes, sad sharers in this grief. Alcestis. Let be, let me sink back to rest me. There is no strength left in my feet. Hades is near, and the night is darkening down on my sight. Darlings, farewell. On the light long may ye look. I have blessed ye, ere your mother to nothingness fleet. Admetus. Ah me, for thy word rusheth bitterness o'er me, bitterness passing the anguish of death. Forsake me not now, by the gods I implore thee, by the babes thou wilt orphan. Oh, yield not thy breath! Look up, be of cheer, if thou diest, before me is nothingness. Living, we aye live thine, and we die unto thee. For our hearts are a shrine, wherein for thy love, passing word, we adore thee. Alcestis. Admetus, for thou seest all my plight, fain would I speak mine heart's wish ere I die. I, honouring thee and setting thee in place Before mine own soul, still to see this light, Am dying, unconstrained to die for thee. I might have wed what man Thessalian I would, have dwelt wealth crowned in princely halls, Yet would not live on, torn away from thee, With orphaned children. Wherefore spared I not The gifts of youth still mine, wherein I joyed. Yet she that bare, he that begat, forsook thee, though fair for death their time of life was come. Yea, fair, to save their son and die renowned. Their only one wert thou : no hope there was to get them sons thereafter, hadst thou died. So had I lived, and thou to after days. Thou wert not groaning, of thy wife bereaved, thy children motherless. Howbeit this some god hath brought to pass. It was to be. Let be. Remember thou what thank is due for this. I never can ask full requital, for naught there is more precious than the life, yet justly due. For these thy babes thou lovest no less than I, if that thine heart be right. Suffer that they have lordship in mine home. Wed not a stepdame to supplant our babes, whose heart shall tell her she is no Alcestis, whose jealous hand shall smite them, thine and mine. Do not, do not this, I pray thee, ay ! For the new stepdame hateth still the babes of her that's gone with more than viper venom. The boy, his father is his tower of strength, to whom to speak, of whom to win reply. But, O my child, what girlhood will be thine? To thee what would she be, thy father's yoke mate? What if with ill report she smirched thy name, and in thy youth's flower marred thy marriage hopes? For thee thy mother ne'er shall deck for bridal, nor hearten thee in travail, O my child. There, where naught gentler than the mother is. For I must die, nor shall it be to mourn, nor on the third day comes on me this bane. Straightway of them that are not shall I be. Farewell, be happy. Now for thee, my lord, abides the boast to have won the noblest wife, for you, my babes, to have sprung from noblest mother. Chorus. Fear not, for I am bold to speak for him. This will he do, and if he be not mad. End of Part I. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine.